So I don't know about all these Fat Joe allegations. Nah, I don't know. When it comes to all of the, the unfairly paid, or he owed me money, all of those allegations, those are what do you call it, plausible to me because of the industry, just the way the industry is. Like if you Google a standard music contract right now, if you can read it, you're gonna feel the robbery that's laced all through it, right? So I say that to say that if you were taught how to play this game by somebody who's a big wig in this game, then they probably standardize robbery. It's a big possibility. They probably standardize the pillaging of pockets through paper gangstering. You know what I mean? So that part I feel like is plausible, like right from the start. You know what I mean? And Fat Joe has had allegations like that prior. You know what I'm saying? This allegations that he didn't play fair with Pun Wife and so on and whatever else, right? We've heard that before. But the other allegations of like activities with minors and all of that. So in case you need to be brought up to speed, Fat Joe's former hype man, alleged ghostwriter. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. I don't know if alleged ghostwriter, singer, background singer, all kind of stuff. His name is T.A. His government name is Terrence, I believe, Dixon. I'm not sure. But yeah, T.A. I've seen T.A. making his rounds around the internet, like Panda Chop, that platform. I think I seen him on a few other platforms, whatever. And he been smoking Fat Joe. You know what I mean? Talking about how, Fat Joe owe him. But I can't remember exactly what he was saying in these prior videos, right? But he wasn't saying much good about Fat Joe in these videos, right? But he portrayed himself as a real one. You understand what I'm saying? Like I got the vibe from, I got a street vibe. I got a fairly authentic vibe from him. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who was out there, at least somebody who was in the mix, right? And in the mix and with the shits, right? So, those type of individuals usually adhere to certain codes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, they move certain ways that's familiar to other, at least I'm familiar with it. You know what I mean? I recognize those patterns. And, he didn't mention none of that. As bad as as hard as he was going at Fat Joe prior to this, none of this, he never said nothing. He never hinted at any of this inappropriate behavior before. I'm not making a declaration. I'm asking a question to anybody who know. You know what I mean? He ain't never say nothing like that before. If he did, I stand corrected. Please let me know. What does Cuban Link say? Cuban Link been going at Fat Joe since 5 minutes after Pun passed away. You know what I'm saying? Not literally, but shortly after Pun passed away, Cuban Link and Fat Joe ain't been getting along, and Cuban Link has been going at him, like, saying whatever he felt like saying about Fat Joe, whatever he was displeased about, he ain't have no problem saying. So, and that's what he's been doing. Has Cuban Link ever said anything about Fat Joe and minors? Cause I gotta keep it 100. Like, like I don't get that vibe from Joe. Well, maybe I never paid enough attention. I don't know. I mean, like, there's some, I could stereotype, you know, I could spew off a whole bunch of stereotypes, but I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? I don't mean racial stereotypes, just, you know, other dynamics. But yeah, I just don't really, here's a stereotype that I will say, right? Fat Joe plays the role of a gangster. No real gangster's doing that. Not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Nah. You know what I mean? I question it. Nah. If that's something, if that's what you on, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying I believe it's possible to at any point at any point in our life we could get ran up on by somebody who looks of age that ain't right, and temptation can happen. You understand what I'm saying? If they pressing, you know what I'm saying. But if that's what you seek out in, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, well, let me complete that thought. I'm not saying that you're wrong for feeling the way you feel. Like, if somebody is, I mean, legal is legal. I personally, like, you know, legal 18 is still a baby to me. You understand what I'm saying? But if, you know, if you had some 18, 20-year-old trying to get at you like crazy, I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't be mad at you if you give in to the temptation, all right? You know what I'm saying? You little aggressive firecracker young chick or whatever. I can't, but if that's what you want, that's what you seek and destroy, I can't rock with that, right? And I don't believe, no, I think I kind of believe it's something wrong with you if that's what you want. You understand what I'm saying? And kind of, you know, it kind of disqualifies you from being what I consider gangster or real nigga or whatever. So there's that. You know, here's another stereotype. You got a lot of people who are swagless and or unattractive, and they may prey on younger. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know. These are stereotypes. I don't get, you know, I don't get that kind of energy from Fat Joe. No, I just didn't. But I don't. But I'm not. I could be wrong. But I'm saying I don't know him well enough to. You understand what I'm saying? But my initial reaction to that wasn't that he did that. I was like, what? And coming from TA, it was like, huh? What it seems like is, you know, TA and Fat. I heard Fat Joe hit him with a lawsuit or some defamation or something like that, because he been going at Fat Joe. Fat Joe been kind of ignoring him for a long time or whatever. But you know, I think this is a fight fire with fire thing. And when somebody is your ops, you know, when somebody is really the op, it ain't really no fair play. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, like I don't like the thing. I'm not saying it's right. You understand what I'm saying? But niggas will lie, call and tell somebody this, that, and the third to get you clipped. Nigga, make a few phone calls, tell a few bold-faced lies, the next thing you know it's your funeral. Like, this happens in the real world, in Opland or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, the new way niggas is fighting, it appears to be, is with internet. Niggas is fighting with cameras and lawsuits right now. So it's like, okay, that's where we at. That's where we at. So I feel like that's an option. Like, that's a possibility right there. Like, you know, TA could, like I said, all of the paper gangster, he owe him money. I kind of believe that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, I believe that. But the other nasty stuff, I don't want to believe that, and I don't initially believe that. That's just my 2 cents on the matter. I'm not, you know, I don't know. We'll see. Wait and see. But again, what does Cuban Link think? Has Cuban ever mentioned anything about that type of behavior? Because Cuban Link has said everything he could possibly think of to say bad about Fat Joe. If it, you understand what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying? So if he ain't said nothing about that, then I'm inclined not to believe it. If he has, somebody let me know. Welcome to the nation. I'm your host, your tour guide, president, and the king around here. I'm the landlord, owner, tenant, janitor. I'm off the damn floor. With you, if you don't follow the rules are you gotta like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. If you're trying to be a taxpaying citizen in the nation, leave us a super thanks or a cash app. We actually prefer the cash app, but y'all do y'all. Just don't be listening. Cash app tag is going to be in the description along with the Bandcamp link, which is there for those of you who would rather hear me rap than hear me yap. I would rather hear me rap than yap sometimes. So just be advised. There's new music on the way, but in the meantime, at the other end of that Bandcamp link is Wow mixtapes. From Nonviolent Rocco, which is the newest one, all the way back to Shell Shock, which is, you know what I mean? Yeah, when writing on the walls, use your spell checks, not your autocorrects. Your autocorrects are how you write in helter skelter instead of helter skelter, and that's wrong. It'll get you deleted. You know what I'm saying? So, there's that. It's an AH, not an ER, at the end of both words. It's monster, not monster. See? It's on the shirt. A, no ER. And for the love of all things decent, it's BCC, not BBC. Pause protesters, get your ass out of here. Y'all know the rules. Also, boot camp click. Click is spelled C-L-I-K. I see some of y'all mixing that up a little bit. You know, I make a big deal out of it because there be tourists here in the nation and they don't know no better and they go spreading the word the wrong way. So we got to keep you understand what I'm saying? If we're going to make the nation grow, then, you know what I'm saying, we got to follow a few guidelines. Anyway. But anyway, 20 mil. TA suing for 20 mil. I don't like it. It's always either somebody black or somebody hip hop. I don't like it. I'm just saying. It is what it is. We'll see though. You know what I mean? If you made it to the end of this video, let me get four music notes. Rock on, rock going.